In this video, I'm sharing some resurrection-themed DIYs for Easter decor as part of the second annual He is Risen collab. I hope that when you're done here, you'll click on that playlist link in the descriptions and watch what everyone else has created. This is a cross that I thrifted for 99 cents. It's made with a real heavy piece of wood, very thick. When I bought it, it already had this paper on there and a vinyl K. Since I have no use for that K, I'm just going to pick that off. And then I'm going to fill in this odd hole that was on the front. It apparently had a dowel at some point. I don't know what could have gone there, but anyway, I'm just filling it in with some Dollar Tree lightweight spackle. Then once it was dry, I added a coat of paint. I do like the pattern of the paper. I'm not a big fan of the colors that's on there, so I'm just going to mix up some white and bright yellow paint. Both of these are apple barrel acrylic paints. And I'm giving it one coat of that sunny yellow. You can see that the pattern still shows through here. And now I'm going to add a Cricut decal that I made in Design Space. This is a line from, I guess, my all-time favorite Easter song. To add some more detail, I'm going to put some of these upholstery tacks, just kind of outlining the cross with what I had. The tacks come 30 in a pack, but I think I only had maybe half that. I thought about repainting or touching up the places where I missed with the hammer, and it looked rugged, and I thought, rugged, old rugged cross, let's run with that. So I took some antique wax by Folk Art and went all the way around those edges with a tiny brush. Then I also took my nail file, did a little bit of sanding here and there, just kind of wear down the paint in spots. I went over the decal too, and took my little tack hammer and went around, and that's how it turned out. For this DIY, I'm using 2 of those rectangle signs from Dollar Tree. I'm going to be painting and putting some decals on the back sides of these. So I want to take the front sides and glue them together using Gorilla Glue and some popsicle sticks to kind of sturdy it up. What I'll do is just put a line of glue down that seam that's between the 2 signs and make a plus sign over that and lay down a popsicle stick. I want to use a light yellow paint again, but since I've got so much to paint, I'm not going to try to mix a custom color. I'm just going to use the color Daybreak from Folk Art. It's a little bit darker than I would like for this particular project, but it works out fine. If anyone has a suggestion on how to get the staples out of these signs, let me know, because I had a few that were that would not give up at all, so I had to leave them there. I used 2 coats of this paint, and then once it was dry, I'm going to come in with some Folk Art antique wax, and I'm going to go over that seam in the middle and then make some other faux plank lines like so, using my yardstick as a guide. And then once I have those lines, I'll come back over with a little bit more on my brush and dot in some heavier spaces here and there. And then I'll brush across that with a foam brush, kind of just blurring the lines, feathering the paint. After I got my decals on, I used the corner of my Dollar Tree sanding block, gave it a little more distressing per se. I wanted to put a small wreath on the side. The smallest wreath form I have is one of these that comes in a 2-pack. So I'm going to cut it down to be smaller. First, I'm cutting all these dogwood blooms. The dogwood bunches of flowers, they came from Dollar Tree. Logically, I probably could have done it with just that inner rim, but I left 2 there. And I'm zip tying the blooms onto that. Once I was all the way around, I started going in between where the blooms were thin and adding more. And then I also went around and snipped some off where the blooms were a bit too thick, and I hot glued them into another space. And then I hot glued the wreath into place. Again, using Gorilla Hot Glue. Now I'm going to put some little Easter eggs down by the bunny. This is a 6-pack that came from Dollar Tree. I'm just putting down a dab of glue, putting the egg on top, and there it is, all finished. I could have put a hanger on the back, but this is just going to be propped against the wall on top of a bookcase. And I think this turned out really pretty. For this last DIY, I'm going to be spray painting a Dollar Tree pizza pan with a copper color from Rust-Oleum. But first I'm going to spray it black because that has primer in it. And then I put on this decal. It's a file that I bought off Etsy. And I chose black and lavender colors to go with that. And I'm going to be framing it out with some Easter lilies. I'm going to do 2 yellow, 1 pink, 2 yellow, 1 white, and so on. So I'm just going to cut those down as close as I can get them to the bloom. And I'll start using my hot glue, which is Gorilla Glue still. And I'll hot glue them all around that edge of the pizza pan. The lip, I would call it. Just lay down a line of glue, stick down a flower, and do it over and over. That was super short and sweet, and it turned out gorgeous. Love these colors. And I'm going to show you all 3 of the projects together that I did today. There's the silly rabbit sign, he's alive cross, and the sign that says, when he was on the cross, I was on his mind. I hope you enjoyed my video today. If you did, give me a thumbs up. And if it's your first time stopping by, comment and say hello. Until next time, bye-bye.